I hope that you'll agree with this. Not one more dime should go to Ukraine until we get to the end game on all the allegations against the Biden family, because this does look a whole lot like payback. All this money being sent to Ukraine, there is no logical reason I can think of as a God-loving, family-loving American why we would keep on sending money to Ukraine when we haven't gotten to a conclusion of whether the Bidens are on the take from Ukraine. What is wrong with us? So again, not one more dime should go till we find out.
Okay, so the most heated moment at the debate was on the subject of Ukraine. And the reason why is because a lot of people are getting paid off Ukraine. Ukraine has found an infinite money glitch. So they asked the question, if you become president, are you going to continue to support infinite money in Ukraine? Are you going to keep sending billions and billions of dollars of U.S. taxpayer money to Zelensky and his regime over there? The only one who had the courage to raise his hand, the only one who seemed interested in stopping the flow of money over there, was Ramaswamy. So Ramaswamy raised his hand, and that completely triggered the neocons. Nikki Haley exploded on him because she is very vested in an endless war, because she's one of these old school Republicans from the Bush era, the 2000s era, where we waged a 20-year war on terrorism, where all of these contractors, Lockheed, Raytheon, Boeing, were lining their pockets billions of dollars. Of course, they were dead Americans. Of course, millions of Iraqis and Afghanis were displaced. Of course, hundreds of thousands of them died. But hey, that doesn't matter as long as the powers that be got paid. And the same thing is going on in Ukraine. So when Vivek raised his hand and said we need to stop the flow, stop giving billions of dollars to this failed proxy war against Russia, they couldn't stand that. These guys were immediately enraged. So we have a failed proxy war. The U.S. is sending all this money over there. Hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian young men and teenagers down to 15 years old, old men, 60-some years old, dead in America's war against Russia. We have all this fancy equipment, these magic weapons, these magic bullet things that were supposed to change the game, not working. You wasting money on Patriot systems. You wasting money on Bradleys. You don't even want to send the Abrams tank over there because you don't want to get embarrassed because it's not what it was hyped up to be. So hundreds of thousands of dead men, but they don't want to end it. And one of the main reasons why they don't want to end it is because they're washing money. These neocons can sit there in their mansions and drive around their luxury cars while other men, faceless men over there in Eastern Europe, die so they can get paid. Let's take a look at how these sparks flew at this debate about this subject.
And I think that this is disastrous, that we are protecting against an invasion across somebody else's border when we should use those same military resources to prevent across the invasion of our own southern border here in the United States of America. We are driving Russia further into China's hands. The Russia-China alliance is the single greatest threat we face. And I find it offensive that we have professional politicians on the stage that will make a pilgrimage to Kyiv, to their Pope, Zelensky, without doing the same thing for people in Maui or the south side of Chicago.
Okay. If we do the giveaway that you want to give to Putin to give him his land, it's not going to be too long before he rolls across a NATO border, and frankly, our men and women of our armed forces are going to have to go and fight him. I want to let the Ukrainians fight and drive Putin and the Russians back out into Russia.
I want to just briefly address Pence, Vice President Pence. I have a newsflash. The USSR does not exist anymore. It fell back in 1990.
Did I say
the real threat? You talked about the communists. So the reality is that today, Ukraine is not a priority for the United States of America. And I think that the same people who took us into the Iraq War, the same people who took us into the Vietnam War, you cannot end it. You cannot start another no-win war. And I do not want to get to the point where we're sending our military resources abroad when we could be better using them here at home to protect our own borders, protect the homeland.
All right.
That will be my top priority in foreign policy.
I think we gave you
protect
more
this
than the 30
homeland.
seconds in the rebut. So I do want to get to some other people because everybody, we respect everybody's time here. So Governor Haley, you did not raise your hand, meaning that you would support more funding for the Ukraine war. You have said of Governor DeSantis that you didn't appreciate it when he initially called it a territorial dispute. Why?
First of all, the American president needs to have moral clarity. They need to know the difference between right and wrong. They need to know the difference between good and evil. Right. When you look at the situation with Russia and Ukraine, here you have a pro-American country that was invaded by a thug. So when you want to talk about what has been given to Ukraine, less than 3.5% of our defense budget has been given to Ukraine. If you look at the percentages per GDP, 11 of the European countries have given more than the U.S. But what's really important is go back to when China and Russia held hands, shook hands before the Olympics, and named themselves unlimited partners. A win for Russia is a win for China. We have to know that. Ukraine is the first line of defense for us. And the problem that Vivek doesn't understand is he wants to hand Ukraine to Russia. He wants to let China eat Taiwan. He wants to go and stop funding Israel. You don't do that to friends. What you do instead is you have the backs of your friends. Ukraine is the front line of defense. Putin has said once Russia takes Ukraine, Poland and the Baltics are next. That's a world war. We're trying to prevent war. Look at what Putin did today. He killed Prigozhin. When I was at the UN, the Russian ambassador suddenly died. This guy is a murderer, and you are choosing a murderer over a pro-American country.
First of all,
Mr. Ramaswamy, you have 30 seconds. Mr. DeSantis,
Nikki, I wish you well in your future career on the boards of Lockheed and Raytheon.
I'm not on the boards of Lockheed and Raytheon. And
Boeing came off of it, but you've been pushing this lie. You've been pushing this lie all week, Nikki.
You want to go and defund Israel? You want to
okay, let me address that. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to address each of those right now. This is the false lies of a professional politician. There you have it.
Your watch,
so the reality
is, America less safe. You have no foreign policy experience, and it shows.
And you know what? The foreign policy experience that you all have shows in the pointless wars we've gotten into. I have to address that. So our relationship with Israel will never be stronger than by the end of my first term. But it's not a client relationship. It is a friendship. And you know what friends do? Friends help each other stand on their own 2 feet. So I will lead Abraham Accords 2.0. I will partner with Israel to make sure Iran never is nuclear armed. But you know what I love about Israel? And I've been there probably in the last 10 years more than most people on this stage. You know what I love about them? I love their border policies. I love their tough on crime policies. I love that they have a national identity and an iron dome to protect their homeland. And so, yes, I want to learn from the friends that we're supporting. And what puzzles me is, I want to learn from those and apply those to protect our homeland, Nikki.
Israel
that is the
needs
answer.
America. America needs Israel.
Okay, Governor DeSantis, you and
Hey, there was a great line calling Zelensky their Pope. Because the way these people get this man praise and adulation, they talking about he's up there with Churchill. He's one of the greatest presidents in world history. How Nancy Pelosi brought him to the U.S. Capitol and they had him over there in D.C. and they were idolizing this man, waving the Ukrainian flag in the U.S. Capitol. How these guys go over there and it looks like they're making a pilgrimage or something. They go in here and the room looks like some confessional booth or something. They walk in here and they are basically in tears greeting this man like they just want to bow down and worship him or kiss him or something. I don't know what the hell is going on. But this man is sending his own people to fight America's endless war. Hundreds of thousands of his men are dead. A generation of Ukrainian men are dying in Zelensky and Joe Biden in the neocons war. And the neo-libs, of course. So, look how Mike Pence them frame this, though. Look how they say, well, Russia is going to roll over Poland. They're going to roll over Lithuania and Estonia and all these countries. When the hell did Russia ever say that? You're assuming. That's why Vivek had to talk about the USSR. No, the USSR rolled through Europe during World War II. 80 years ago, they rolled through Europe. So you're taking what happened now, World War II knowledge in the Soviet era, and you're trying to apply it now. And it's easy to dupe people who don't really think about these things, who don't pay attention to it. So just because Russia did something or the USSR did something decades ago, you're trying to say they're going to do it now because of a skirmish that's happening in Ukraine, a skirmish that the U.S. has a whole lot to do with. So you're using this lie, tricking American people. Well, we have to stop them. Otherwise, all of Europe is going to be under Russian jurisdiction. An absolute lie. But it's enough of a lie to keep the money going. It's enough of a lie for a lot of Americans to agree with it, for them to change their Twitter and Instagram bio to the Ukraine flag and thinking, oh, we need to support Ukraine. We need to spend billions and billions and billions of dollars. Neglect home, send money over there. So these guys push an absolute lie. They get pissed off. They get triggered. But what they didn't do is address what Vivek was talking about. Can we focus on home? Can we focus on these cartels? Can we focus on the invasion at the border? Can we focus on fentanyl? Can we focus on the crime in the cities? New York, Chicago, Vegas, LA, Atlanta, Baltimore, all these places are completely crime-ridden. But y'all are worried about Eastern Europe. And why are y'all worried about Eastern Europe? Because the crime that's happening in American cities doesn't affect y'all. It doesn't get you paid, and it doesn't put you in danger. Ukraine doesn't put you in danger, but it definitely gets you paid. Y'all rich neocons, it definitely gets y'all paid. That's why y'all so triggered by it. So let these Ukrainians keep dying so y'all can get paid. That's what you want. So during the debate live, I actually tweeted about this. I'm like, damn. I was even surprised. Look at DeSantis. DeSantis was half-assed about it because he originally was on the same side with Ramaswamy months and months ago, and then it looked like his donors got to him because he flip-flopped on it. He's like, oh, no, this is not just a territorial skirmish. We need to keep spending money on this. So even DeSantis is an absolute ass and a piece of shit when it comes to this because Ukrainians are dying for rich men and neocons, neolibs, Raytheon, Lockheed, all these guys get paid. And I don't know how much money Joe Biden is, but that's a completely different story right there. So bottom line is, these guys are a bunch of warmongers. They want the money to keep flowing so they can enrich themselves, but they're absolutely wrong, and it's a tragedy that's happening over there in Ukraine. And if the United States can stop this spigot, stop funding this war, they can come to a peace agreement way quicker. So let me know what you think. Leave me your thoughts below. Share the video. Thanks for watching.